Greetings, Starshines. It's Irma K. Sawyer, Bright Star Consulting and Cosmic Weather. How are you doing today? It is November 16, 2015. Woo, what a weekend. First of all, if you're still at social media and you're an empath sensitive and you haven't deleted all of your accounts, I'm so proud of you. Yeah, it was the Wild West in social media last weekend. There's a lot I could say about it, but what I would recommend to you is that I wrote 2 blog posts in the last 4 days. Trauma healing, I'm looking at my notes because I have a lot to cover. Trauma healing in the Divine Plan, which I released today, and then thoughts on recent events in Paris. And just a little empath sensitive alert, there's nothing in there that's graphic, and I feel that both of these are encouraging and empowering, and that's what I've been hearing from people. Anyway, so that's at my site, irmakstory.com. That's also at Cosmic Weather. Both of those have been posted. Okay, so a lot to tell you about. First of all, what's going on this week? Wednesday, we have Neptune turning direct. This is both has positive and negative elements to it. Neptune, since it affects the collective, it has to do with illusion. It's been in it going, it's been retrograde, so that causes some confusion. So having it be direct is actually really good. But any planet, when it stations direct, it's stronger. So that means the impact of Neptune, it'll be more Neptunian. So that can, cause confusion, like I was saying, delusion in some extreme cases for people suffering from mental illness. That's not a great aspect for them. On the other hand, folks that are mystics, artists, creative people, if people have been feeling like maybe their connection to spirit isn't as clear or their creativity's been affected, this will be really positive for you. I'm doing an event. I was guided to do an event on November 18th on Wednesday, which is Healing Collective PTSD, which there's a lot of that about right now. The energy in the collective has been extremely thick ever since the 13th, based on events in Paris that day. So I'm encouraging everyone that's drawn to this event. It is a free event, though donations are gratefully accepted. 11:30 to 12 Pacific time, I'm doing another one from 6:30 to 7, and all the details can be found on the event page, which is at my professional page, Bright Star Consulting Services at Facebook. Okay, what else? It was really interesting thinking about this year, thinking about recent events, thinking about the intensity of the 8 vibration that we're still in. I was just kind of opening it up to guidance and, what they wanted to share with me. And what I was shown was that scene from Practical Magic, and I know not everybody's seen that, so it's a great movie, one of my favorites. Great witchy movie with Sandra Bullock and Nicole Kidman, and hottie Aidan Quinn, who's great in it. But anyway, Nicole Kidman gets herself in a little bit of trouble. And as Sandra Bullock says, she has awful taste in men. She goes for the vampire cowboy type. So you can imagine, just not good. So the aunties, who are the magical aunties there, they, older women, fun, like to drink tequila and dance, and there's all kinds of interesting magic about these aunties. When they can just kind of smell something is not right. And they basically say, we're going to leave, and we're not coming back until you straighten out your, And they give the little girls, because Sandra Bullock has 2 precious little girls, they give them protection strings that are similar to the one that I wear. And they give them some tools. So it's really interesting. They protected the children, but let the adults kind of sort it all out. And I was like, why are you showing me this? And it was basically like, this year there has been so much karma afoot. There's been so much drama. Some of it's ours, some of it's other people's. We're dealing with collective drama. It's just, the cosmic blenders on frappe, as I like to call it. It's a very difficult time, especially for empaths and sensitives. So what does this mean? This means that if you're an auntie, there's a spiritual auntie within all of us, an uncle and an auntie. We need to let the folks that make their own messes figure it out. And of course, we're going to send them love and light, and we're going to bless them. We have our own stuff that we're dealing with. And I talk about this in my blog about especially light workers and people out there doing spiritual work. Especially now, we cannot afford to get sucked up into the drama and go down and start circling the drain of all that stuff. We just can't afford to do that right now. So basically, find a way to get back to center. If that means going off the computer, if it means getting off social media for a little while, if it means grounding, hugging a tree, I love to go hang out with trees, putting your feet in the sand, going to Mother Ocean. Everybody has their ways that they get back to center and they reconnect. I have the violet shirt on today, also to remind everybody, we really need some violet flame up in here. Thank you very much. I'm going to get spiritually gangsta because the energy is so thick. So a reminder for anybody that does Reiki, energy work, IET, I talk about this in my blog as well. Please include the collective in your work, in your daily work. I don't have to tell you how much we need it right now. So thank you. Thank you so much for your service. Okay, so I gave you guys some tips. Talked about my blogs. All right, so what we're going to be doing at this event on the 18th, it's only 30 minutes. This is how it's going to work. The first 5 minutes is always for grounding and centering, leaving all our stuff at the door, just being very present, breathing, whatever form of deity or spirit you connect with, calling that in. So the next 10 minutes, we're going to be filling the grid with love, sending all kinds of good stuff out to anybody that needs it right now. I'm going to be calling in the angels of the healing ray. We're going to be working with Archangel Michael for all the fear and trauma, and also Archangel Raphael for general healing of the collective. But that's neither here nor there. If that's not your thing, you don't have to worry about that. If you do work with IET and do work with angels, those are the angels we're going to be working with. So, and then we're going to do that for 10 minutes, and then we're going to do 10 minutes in receiving whatever we need to release any collective stuff, schmutz, garbage that we may have picked up. It's been a very, very heavy time to be alive, as you know, right now. And then we're going to use the last 5 minutes for closing prayers, dedicating our work to the collective. And again, you don't have to have the clock on because these things have their own life. And you tend to kind of go with the intention and the flow of what we're doing kind of naturally. Some people go very deep and then they open their eyes and we're right at the end of the time. That happens a lot too. It's very cool. So again, even if you go over time or you're under time, there's no right or wrong way to do this. So what I do is I basically will call in the guidance that I work with, the healing masters, the Akashic Wisdom Keepers will be there, and basically our strong intention is to release any collective fear, trauma, lower frequency, icky stuff, gunk that may have gotten stuck to us. If you're an empath, you know exactly what I'm talking about. It was a very, very heavy time to be an empath this last weekend. Okay, and also those who work with Violet Flame, bring that in there. That's very healing, clears out all kinds of lower frequencies. So that's what we're going to be doing on the event on 11/18 on Wednesday. 2 time periods, again, 11:30 to 12, 6:30 to 7 Pacific time. Again, it's a free event. All are welcome. I certainly do welcome and appreciate donations, though, because this is a lot of my time that day, especially doing 2 events. Another thing, what else? Oh, the area of the physical body that is related to shock and trauma is the kidney adrenals, which are in the low back. You may want to focus on that via intention. You may even want to put your hands there. You may be feeling pain there right now because of the strain that we've been through with the shock and trauma over the last weekend. So that's how that event's going to go. I actually have 2 events this week. It's a busy week. I already had my normal monthly event scheduled on the 22nd, which is the actual other aspect of the 11/22. We're still in the Stargate energy, and believe it or not, this is all part of it, and I talk about that in some of my blogs. The intensity, and we're still in Scorpio. And again, it's important to remember that the cure is contained within the illness and the antidote within the poison, as I like to say. So this is part of the reason why a lot of this really heavy shadow material is coming up in the collective, is because it needs to be dealt with. It needs to be healed. I also spoke about, I had a feeling that this was going to be a game changer for light workers. And it is. It already is. And there's a lot of things I've spoken about that in the blog, but just to paraphrase, we can't afford to get into fear. We can't afford to play these games, these 3D games of the news and all of this stuff that's trying to suck us into the trip. We can't do it anymore. If we're light bearers, that's who we are, and that's what we need to do now. You know, and I'm not really big on giving pep talks, but I tend to end up giving them because I just kind of open myself up. And a lot of times that's what comes out. But anyway, the message has been, we are dearly loved. Our service here is greatly, greatly appreciated. Another thing to remember is that as you are committed to Source and Spirit and serving the light and serving healing, that is exactly what will be coming back to you. We are being so sustained and loved and supported right now in this work. So that's really important to remember. I know it's hard when there's all this chaos and nonsense and people are being insane on social media. Some of these people is like, is that really you? I mean, there's been some very strange things. And speaking of that, there's been such misunderstandings going on where I would write something and people would literally read something completely different than what I wrote. And I realized that this has so much to do with how deeply people are triggered right now. And it's better today. It's certainly a lot better today than it was over the weekend. It was very harsh and nuts over the weekend. But if people are not hearing you, if people are reading into things that you're writing or saying, especially folks out there, again, namaste to people that are being brave enough to speak their truth in a very volatile and difficult time. So just know that people are triggered right now. And this work we're doing on Wednesday, I know this is why I was guided to do this, with as many souls, light bearers and light bringers as possible, is to move this out, because we don't want this hanging around, okay? Because not to say everything's all peachy, because we know it's not, but we don't want any residual of this gunk that got activated over the weekend. So that's what we're doing. Okay, so the event, back to the 22nd, that is my monthly event. That is not a free event, though I do have a sliding scale starting at $11. The tickets are available at irmakasawyer.com. This is a 50-minute event. It is much more detailed. If you sign up for that and purchase a ticket, you will be given the full instructions about how to participate with us. These are not beginning events that I facilitate, but they're also not extremely advanced events. You don't have to be a healer or a practitioner, but I do recommend you meditate or have some type of spiritual practice, okay? So people ask me that a lot, like, this is too advanced for me. And it's like, no, if you really do have a practice and you meditate, that's all that's required, okay? So I think that's it. Recommending my blogs. Talking about, and this work on the 18th, it's also the Aquarius moon, which is very good for the bigger picture, detachment, and doing group work. So this is why that date was chosen. Neptune direct, Aquarius moon. Another thing, thank you, they're reminding me to keep in mind. Later in the week, Thursday and Friday, the moon will be in Pisces. Pisces affects karma. It also has to do with emotional pain. It'll be making a contact with Chiron, which is the wounded healer. Later in the week, there's going to be some stuff that's going to come up. There's going to be some more emotion, another level of emotional wounding and potential for healing that's going to be coming up. So this is another reason why we're being asked to hold space at a bigger level on Wednesday, because then when the moon moves into Pisces, there'll be this beautiful energy of support, of love, of letting go of fear, of trust that we're going to establish. So that's what we're doing. So thank you very much for listening, and namaste. Bye-bye.